Very good morning, teachers. This is Swati from Super Teacher team. I have a small announcement for you. The Zoom meeting has a capacity limit of 500 participants only. So your colleagues, you can ask them to join from YouTube, like using YouTube Live. So whether all participants, regardless of whether they join through the Zoom meeting or the YouTube Live, are required to complete the reflection form in order to receive the certificate. So please keep this in your mind. And the inquiry form or reflection form, both are same, will be shared in both the Zoom chat and YouTube live chat at the end of the workshop. And this link will remain active till 5 o'clock, maybe 6 o'clock only. So before this time frame, everybody has to submit the reflection form in order to receive the certificate. So I would request you to please complete the reflection form in order to receive the certificate. Don't forget. And one more announcement, teachers. As the participation is very high, we normally take 10 to 15 days to release the certificate of previous workshop. So last Sunday, whatever we have conducted, that workshop certificate will be released in 2 days or 3 days. You don't worry. Those who already submitted the what we call reflection form will definitely receive the certificate. Please wait for another 3 to 4 days. If you did not receive the certificate after 3 or 4 days, you just mail us. So our mail IDs I will be sharing in the Zoom chat and YouTube chat as well. So it is my humble request, teachers, everybody should submit the reflection form in order to receive the certificate. So please check live chat like Zoom chat and YouTube live chat at the end of this meeting. Thank you so much. And we have our trainer, Mr. Vasudevan Natarajan sir with us. Sir, you can take over the session.
Thank you, Swati. And a warm welcome to one and all present over here, teachers, once again on another Super Sunday workshop. Namaste to one and all. And today we're going to talk about a topic that's quite sensitive in the society, not as sensitive as we got created by whoever, yeah, but we're going to talk about something really important about integrating this gender within the schooling process. In order to assist and help Swati out there, I would like to make an announcement once more. The same thing, I would request everybody to fill the reflection form in order to get the certificate, and be patient for 15 days to get the certificate. Some of you still can not get the certificate. We could have missed. The errors can still happen because it's a manual work. In that case, please write a mail to us, swati@superteacher.in, and definitely it will be replied back. In case if anyone's there out asking for the certificate without the reflection form, I'm not in a position to give that. Please don't mistake me. The reflection form has a cap of 5 p.m. or maximum 6 p.m. For anyone who's attending the program. Fill that up, and right after that, the responses will be stopped. And the mail ID and all the details will be coming on the chat. I would like to request Swati to please put the mail ID and YouTube live link as soon as possible on the Zoom chat right now. And the people who are asking for the YouTube live link, you can actually check my WhatsApp status or WhatsApp story, whatever you call that. It's there. I have put it there as well. If you have my number, you can get it over here. Reflection form will be coming on the chat by Swati somewhere at around 10:40 or 10:45 a.m. I hope everyone is able to hear me. Some teachers are not able to hear. Please connect your phone to your audio. Otherwise, I think most of you would have. Okay, that's great. Meena ma'am, just write a mail to us, Meena Chaurashia ma'am. We will definitely get back to you with the certificate. Sometimes the software has an error. Okay, that's great. Let's. Okay, thank you so much, Jaya ma'am. Thank you so much to all the participants who have been regular out there. Really means a lot, and we continue to provide with the best and a crisp sized information about what's exactly happening in the Indian education system. Let us directly get onto the topic today, and quite fascinating. I'm really eager to talk about this, and most of you will know about whatever we are going to speak. But the beauty is, though we know about it, what is the level of implementation that's happening in the society is something, a matter of concern. So let's talk about it. So before we go forward, when we talk about gender, it's an important terminology. Gender is quite common as a terminology, but back in those days, if you look into filling up any form, rather than writing gender, they would have written sex. They would write sex, male or female, and then later it got converted to gender. So do you think there is a difference between the word called as gender and sex? If you have that difference, you can put it on the chat. You can try to put it on the chat. What is the difference between the terminologies of gender and sex? If they are same, why is it used in two different perspectives? You can put on the chat. Okay, sex is more specific. Okay, Bharti ma'am is absolutely right. She says that sex is by birth, gender is not by birth. Okay, that's great. Good point. What about the other people? Okay, sex is biological, sex is by birth. Okay, Bharti ma'am again says gender is by society. Sunita ma'am says both overlap. There's no distinct differentiation. Is that so? Is that so? Come on, think about it. It's very important. When we talk about integrating gender, it's not integrating sex, it's integrating gender in the schooling process. So what exactly does it mean? So that's the reason we are discussing this. I can see some YouTube chat people also keep contributing to it. Great. No, both are different. Gender is social. Exactly. Almost most of you out there are, speaking it in the right terms. Gender is more of a social construct and sex is a biological construct, I should say. Gender can be changed. Sex is by birth. That's great. That's great. Good point, Malvika ma'am. So when we get into the details of integrating the gender in the curriculum, NEP very clearly defines this. So look at the point number 6.8 in the page number 27 of the NEP document. This is the most specific and the most important because this is the place from where the session is getting organized. Your courses are getting organized. We are following NEP completely. So in addition, the government of India will constitute a gender inclusion fund to build the nation's capacity to provide equitable quality education for all girls as well as transgender students. Now, this is the main point over here. They talk about girls and transgender only for the fact that above there is a very clear mention that there is a drastic number of decrease in the number of women or girls getting admitted to the schools. Also, dropouts in case of females is super high in compared to males. And that is the reason they talk about equitable quality education for all girls as well as transgender. Now, when you say equitable, there are two words called as equality and equity. This is something very important for us to understand. Equality is about treating everyone at the same level. I mean, that's quite obvious, right? That's equality. But when we talk about equity, equity considers the background of a particular individual who is present in that test sample. For example, if I'm present over here and my brother is present over here, my brother is quite intelligent and he got a lot of opportunities because of various factors. But being an elder son in the family, I did not get various opportunities. So the parent of a particular house have a certain kind of a corner for the elder son and not the younger, just the corner. It could be a soft corner or could be a support corner. It could be anything. Any parent would think about, the comparative study of two children. Like, okay, ye kar lega, par ye nahi kar pa raha hai, so let's do something for him. The ability of a parent where they think about, okay, isko thoda sa hum support denge, let us give some support to the person, comes under the category of equity. So equity is that attribute where there is a gentle push given by, here in this case, it was parent in my brothers and my case, but it could be a society in case of a general culture. It could be government of a certain country for a general set of citizens out there. So equity is an attribute that comes into picture to push where some people are underprivileged. It could be people who are differently abled. It could be for the people who are specially abled, or it could also be for the people who are, underprivileged. Like generally there is a lot of misconceptions in the society because of which some people suffer. Here in this case, we are talking about girls and transgender majorly. In case of males, it's not that to that extent. Of course, even boys and males and gentlemen out there, gentlemen, there is a word called as gentlemen. Now, why do we talk about it? I'm going to show a video of the same. We have this equity as a concept. So that's the reason nation's capacity to provide equitable quality education for all girls as well as transgender students. The fund will be available to states to implement priorities determined by the central government critical for assisting female and transgender children in gaining access to education, such as the provision of sanitation and toilets, bicycles, conditional cash transfers, etc. Funds will also enable states to support the scale effective community-based interventions that address local context-specific barriers to female and transgender children's access to and a participation in education. Similar inclusion fund schemes shall also be developed to address analogous access issues for other SEDG. SEDG is socio-economically deprived, or I think it's disadvantaged groups. Socio-economically disadvantaged groups, SEDG. Now, it is not economic alone, it is socio-economic. So these are some of the minute terms like equity, SEDG, to be considered before understanding the whole concept of reservations, the whole concept of special needs. We can't really directly say no to everything. Of course, India is a democratic country and we have our opinions to be placed. But here, as per the education system is a place where everything for everyone should be uniform. And for that, equality could be maintained or equity could be sustained. Let's talk about it. In essence, this policy aims to eliminate the remaining disparity in access to education, including vocational education for children from any gender or other socioeconomically disadvantaged group. That's it. So this is with respect to the NEP 2020 mention, which becomes the prime point or the prime, paraphrase with which the whole session is going to continue, or the whole education system. But this whole concept of gender inclusion is not very latest or trending. It's there since National Curriculum Framework 2005. Back in that time itself, people spoke about a Right to Education Act, RTE, came into existence. And when RTE came into existence, it was clearly mentioned that 25% of a class strength could be reserved for transgenders. Now, when we talk about transgenders, 25%, that's a big number. Definitely a school is open to get such kind of admissions. But the problem is with the society. The children from that kind of a background do not really prefer to come to the school. Identification of gender is a very big problem, which is called as sexuality, which we will be talking about in further part of the session. We're going to address all these one by one. That's going to be the objective of our session. Thank you so much once again to all the participants to have participated. Let's continue, teachers. The first over here, gender and sex. Just like the way we discussed, gender is a social construct and sex is a biological identification. Now, when we talk about gender, social and biological identification, now this biological identification also does not come that early in life. The children do not really understand at pre-primary and up to grade 1 or 2. It's a generalized statement. Maybe I'm wrong. For them to identify who's a girl and who's a boy by identifying by their biologically different bodies. It's quite difficult to identify right in the beginning. Now, just because we have a culture over here to have long hair for the girls and short hair for the boys, I do not know who put that rule, but somehow we all believe in that. Yeah, maybe that's why I'm not growing my hair. But what if I wanted to? I'm just saying, identification of gender is an important area, which we need not address at quite an early age. And that's why many people do not really get into there. But at the same time, it is also important for a child to identify what they are gender in before they touch the age of adolescence. So we're going to talk about that as well in the form of a video. Let's understand that. But right now, before going forward, in order to establish a clear differentiation between what is gender and sex, let's go with an activity. Each and every word that I'm speaking today is directly coming from the NCRT portal. No, Nishta portal or NCRT, both are somewhere one and the same, where they talk about this course called as integrating gender in schooling processes. It's course number 7, and you can get the complete details out here. Whatever we're speaking is more like a summary of this whole course. It might take approximately 2.5 to 3 hours for you to complete this. I'm not finding it that difficult. You've got some activities to be completed, but if there is a batch going on right now on Diksha portal, you can even get the certificate for this. And if you get a certificate for this, I think approximately within 3 hours you can complete it, and this could be used as the mandatory CPD for CBSE within the first 25 hours, not the second, the first 25 hours, something which is led by the government of India, right? So this is the course, and let's play this. I would like to request everyone to read the statements provided below carefully and then choose the correct option. So everybody's going to respond right now on the chat. I would request you please put your fingers on the keyboard and immediately press the enter the moment you get to know the answer. Boys' voices undergo a change in puberty. Is it a sociological activity or a biological activity? Or is it a social construct or biological construct? Put it on the chat. Biological, absolutely. Exactly. Boys' voices undergo. So it's a puberty. It's all about that. So I go and select biological and I click on next. And it says that it's absolutely a correct answer. Fantastic. Let's go further. Okay. Women may not sustain leadership roles in companies because of marriage, childbirth, and child rearing, etc. Can somebody talk about it? Can somebody say if it's a social or biological? Put on the chat. Okay, the response is super fast over here. Yes, it's definitely sociological. Are you all angry reading the statement? Maybe some of you should be. Absolutely, that's great. In fact, there was a situation where in my previous company, I was supposed to ask some set of questions in an interview to some candidates, and whenever there were girl candidates, there was some set of questions like, not in my previous company, it was for one of the freelancing work actually. Of course, it made some sense, but somewhere I don't believe in that. It was mentioned that if the girl is married, are they planning for childbirth and things like that, and based on that the selection was done. And there was some very good advertisement also talking about it. Somewhere I wouldn't say that to be completely wrong considering the type of work, but that's okay, no problem. Maybe it could be avoided. In school functions, girls are better at doing creative work. Biological, sociological? Put it on the chat. Okay, absolutely. That's biological. No, sociological. Exactly. Creative work. Why can't boys do? Yeah, I'm a good. I know I don't want to say that, but I'm a good artist. Yeah, definitely. You should see my son between two mountains. But anyways, here we go. Men who cry only reveal their weaknesses. Okay. Men who cry only reveal their weakness. Is that sociological or biological? Very important attribute. Most times we don't cry, boys don't cry just because it's considered to be some kind of a bad thing. मर्द को दर्द नहीं होता. I want to find Amitabh Bachchan and ask this question. तुम्हारी वजह से पूरी दुनिया ऐसे समझती है. यहाँ पे भी बहुत दर्द होता है. Yeah, बहुत ज्यादा होता है. Especially when your wife fights with you for a reason that's quite not, understandable or understanding. It could be both ways. हम रोते हैं. So men who cry only reveal their weaknesses. That's sociological. Okay, let's go to the next one. Transgender person are not capable of working in offices. Oh, very important. We're going to talk about this again in the form of a video. It's again biological or sociological. Teachers put it on chat. Okay, multiple people are coming over there. It's definitely sociological. Exactly. Let's go forward. Look at the statements, how nicely it's getting created. During menstrual cycle, girls are generally impure. Oh my God, this is one of the greatest misconceptions that our great ancestors used to have. Well, there were some scientific beliefs about various practices that used to happen in home, but impure is not the right word for that. Maybe English does not have the right vocabulary for that. Maybe. But anyways, impure is definitely not right. And definitely it's not a matter of menstrual cycle. Definitely not. And many organizations out there give menstrual holidays also for the women out there. That's a good respect in the form of respect out there. Biological, menstrual, social, definitely sociological. Let's go to the next. Men should be the wage earners in the family. Oh, trust me, I've been there. Men should be the wage earners in the family. A woman in a house gets to say that I don't want to work. In fact, there is also luxury in some families कि तुम मत काम करो, without even asking the husband. How dare they say that in the current era of where tomatoes cost somewhere around 70-80 rupees? Impossible. So definitely men should be the wage earners in the family. No way. It's sociological. Let's go forward. You're absolutely right. Boys are generally good in mathematical calculations. No chance. I'm very poor. So this is definitely sociological. Let's go forward. I think it's almost completed. Women are nurturers and are thus the real homemakers. I don't know. I've seen my mom. I've seen my mother. She's really a good homemaker. My father made few attempts, miserably failed. I can't really generalize this, but in my case, my mother is a good homemaker. Doesn't mean that she's not working. She is a principal too in one of the schools. So definitely, this is sociological. Let's go forward. Transgender children should have a separate schools and hostels. Damn it. Sociological. Yeah, that's wrong. That's definitely wrong. Men are the decision makers of the family. This concept actually came when there was a NCRT book, if I'm not wrong. Who is the head of the family or father of the family? These statements generally attributed to masculinity. It was like more like a patriarchal activity. People used to think that okay, father of a family is father of a family, father of the nation. Why can't father of a nation be a woman if father is defined like that? I hope you're getting the point. So I'm just trying to come up with few stereotypes with the questions that are available. It's definitely sociological. Let's go forward. Girls undergo much pain and emotional stress during menstrual cycle. This is a good point, right? This is definitely biological. Exactly. This is biological. Yeah, it's practical. Physical pain, huge. Yep. So enjoy this content. Yeah, absolutely we did. So if you want to enjoy the same content, please go to Diksha portal or let's go to Nishta portal and try to complete this course. An interesting course out there, integrating gender into the classroom. Okay, there's a rush of answers whenever there is literally questions related to women and very poor performance with respect to men. Have you seen this? Gender bias. It's not bias. Somehow, even in schools, if you get into a school, look at the ratio of teachers who are men, teachers who are ladies. If you see that, general perception is mostly ladies, or most schools will have more number of ladies. Now this thing can be attributed to multiple aspects. One fact is that people generally think that women are more compassionate towards students. Women have this qualities of better patience and better connect with the children, and that is why you will not see literally any male being a counselor or a therapist. And similarly, in the same school, you'll find NCC masters to be the men, the PT teachers to be the man. And if there is a woman who is a PT teacher, we have a separate lookout. Hey, यहाँ पे तो एक lady है PT teacher. That's going to be there. Yeah. Now people feel that there is a motherly touch, motherly feelings and things like that. Well, I very strongly condemn that. I have a better motherly feeling for that matter. I'm just saying it may be true, it may not be true. But the point is, the second factor that's affecting this ratio is somewhere the pay scale as well. It's very clearly evident from one of the surveys, which clearly states that men are the breadwinners of the family in majority, because of which they opt for jobs that has got more physical exertion. Who says teaching does not have physical exertion? That's a second point. And they go out for jobs that can earn more money so that they can stay outside the house, and women try to go to. So these are some of the, I wouldn't say stereotypes, a general practice that's adopted by mutual acceptance, which somewhere has to get changed. If you go to few Western countries out there, especially the European nations or Australian nations, you'll find, including the that most people out there are, in most of the schools, you can find, men present out there, surprisingly. And those men are none other than from people from Kerala. Yeah, many of them are there. When I went there, I thought I'll have a foreign feeling, and I'm like, hey, yeah, not like every day. Where are you from in the country? Like that's the kind of attribute we have in UAE, but that's from humor point of view. But the point is, okay, your bhabhi is a PE educator. We have got gender differentiation. The ratio is kind of different in schools, and this needs to get changed. Otherwise, how will children change? Let's go with something really amazing. I want to show this to everyone. And this particular thing is called as Adolescence and Importance of Sexuality in Education. Now, this is a very sensitive topic. And yes, Sulbhamam, you're absolutely correct. And measures are being taken slowly and gradually. Yeah. Adolescence and importance of sexuality in education. And here we go. Children from the age of, this particular slide will break some of the myths that you have in your mind, and will give some clarity towards what exactly is adolescence. Children from the age of 10 to 19 years studying from upper primary to higher secondary stages are considered adolescents, and the period is called adolescence period. Now, this is a general perception from age of 10 to 19. And this also has got quite a sensitive period, especially from 15 to 16, which is in the second point. The secondary stage of school education is crucial stage as it prepares students for higher education and also for the world of work. Very, very crucial stage. But this stage also encompasses children between the age group of 15 to 16, followed by the higher secondary grades for the age group of 17 to 18. And these are the critical years of adolescence. So this is the exact age where the children get matured, to understand the real life world out there, to understand how the people work, how the businesses work. At the same time, they also are in a continuous struggle of discovering themselves, identifying their own sexuality. Like if I'm a man, what am I? Like what are the attributes that as a man I have? But more importantly, as a man or as a boy, the boys will be more curious towards what would be the sexuality of a woman. Now, this curiosity has to be addressed somewhere, which is quite a difficult task in countries like India. teaching the chapter of reproduction in the class itself is quite a challenge for many biology teachers out there. If you accept with me, you can put it on the chat. The children try to, mock the teachers because they're not educated about it. And that comes somewhere from the society they live in. And parents are the right people to actually redirect and guide them. So somewhere it's very important for the parents to be educated. We'll talk about it. Adolescence is a crucial and complex stage of the life cycle when young people come to terms with their sexuality. The understanding of sexuality that develops at this stage becomes central to a person's sense of identity, self-esteem, and confidence. Until and unless you don't really know about your body, your genitals to be even more precise, it's very difficult for a child to express about the same. Uh, Puberty is the age. In fact, there is a lot of attention given to girls about, when they attain puberty. In fact, there are functions that are, happening in some of the parts of our country, telling the people that our girl is like matured right now, and somewhere back in those days it was more like a function to announce people that there's a girl who is available over here for marriage, something like that. So unfortunately that got somewhere still continued in our system, but many people are educated these days, and the numbers of child marriage have got reduced to quite a certain extent, but not completely stopped. So this is that period. But boys, what about boys? They also attain puberty. They also have physical changes in their body. What kind of function do we have for them? No, we don't. So that's the place where there is a gender disparity. Now, being a teacher, being an educator out there, it's important to speak about it at the right platform. And school can be the best platform to speak about, because if a teacher speaks, people listen. I'm talking about an ideal scenario over here. These days, parents speak and the teachers listen, mostly, especially in private schools out there here, and I've seen some experiences. But majorly, if government has a policy, and if that policy is implemented by a teacher, and if that's spoken by a sound leader, people do listen. And I think there should be special programs arranged, which even NCRT is suggesting for the school leaders. We'll talk about the role of teachers and leaders to speak about the same and give an exposure to children. Identification of a child at the birth itself, like he's a transgender or she's a transgender, they put the children to some kind of homes where they are separately taken care. This is a very bad attribute. We'll talk about it. It's extremely important to provide learners access to information about sexuality, to make them aware of the diversity which exists in expressions of sexuality and gender, to make it possible for them to make informed choices. Yep. Let's go with something interesting, teachers. I would like to watch, show you this amazing video. Please watch this because of this. Yeah, you're absolutely correct, teachers. Child abuse continues. We're going to talk about child abuse also. Chapter with logic and sensitive students don't play up. Joita ma'am, it's because of that attribute of, the children. You're absolutely right. Let's continue. Watch this. Oh, that's great, Manju ma'am. That's amazing. If you're doing it in the school, that's really required. Call as many people as possible. But as of now, please watch this.
तुम्हारी आंखों पर किसी ने पोएट्री नहीं लिखी, तुम्हारी जुल्फों पर शायद कोई गाना नहीं, फ्लोर दर फ्लोर भटकते हो दुनिया साफ रखने को, जैसे आसमान से लटकते हो, पर शीशा देखते हो तो ठहर जाते हो, क्या कहर ढाते हो। तुम जो अगली नहीं होने देते झगड़ों को, एक नजर चुराकर जो यूं देखते हो अपने कपड़ों को, क्यूट लगते हो। ट्रैफिक के रेज में इंडियन क्लासिकल फ्लूट लगते हो। तुम जो कभी कभी अपने लिए भी फूल लाते हो, क्या कहर ढाते हो। हिसाब के बीच में से जिससे निकालते हो अपनी किताब का टाइम। वो जो स्ट्रगल के दिन थे तुम्हारे साथ, कभी लगता ही नहीं कि खराब था टाइम। अपनी रेसिपी के अलावा सब शेयर करते हो, और कितना कैजुअली, कितना डेयर करते हो। जो खुद पे फिदा से होकर मुस्कुराते हो, क्या कहर ढाते हो। जब तुम ट्रैश में सारे मलाल रखते हो और ईगो की जगह खुद का ख्याल रखते हो, बवाल लगते हो। फिर भी तुम्हारी आंखों पर किसी ने पोएट्री नहीं लिखी, तुम्हारी जुल्फों पर शायद कोई गाना नहीं। हमने भी नहीं बोला तुमसे इनफ बार, जिसे अंग्रेजी में जेंटलमैन कहते हैं, वो तुम ही तो हो यार।
Interesting video out there by the Man Company. Yeah, yeah, this video is by the Man Company, the organization that started with the apparels for the men out there, including trimmers and all. So there could be many products out there which could be really amazing, but what we believe in, and if a company believes in the same, those are the companies that sustain for a long time. It's not about the product's quality. Somewhere it's about the value that's behind that product's quality. Somewhere, you know, people can look at this video and because of the belief that they have, even if there is a partial deterioration in the quality, we will still prefer this because they believe in the same thing, the same values. Amazing video, right? So gentlemen, जिसे कहते हैं वो तुम ही तो हो यार. It's an interesting video about respecting men out there. Men do a lot of things. Now, here in this particular workshop, whatever we are doing right now, it's about gender inclusion. We're not talking about women empowerment. So there's a drastic difference. We will touch the others in separate area. I would like to quickly stop share the screen and tell you something very important. Gender inclusion is one aspect of an education system. Listen to me carefully. Gender inclusion is one aspect of, one second. Okay. Gender inclusion is one aspect of, an attribute in an education system. We do that. That's pretty good. But what's really important is, while we talk about gender inclusion, it's also important for us to talk about gender sensitization. Many people out there still find it difficult. I'm talking about children over here. The difference between trans man and trans women over here. So we say transgender, but what do you really mean by transgender? Now, transgender, according to Government of India, they've come up with a very good attribute. Like, they are registered as a person. It could be male or female on the birth certificate, but that particular person might show an attribute, a different attribute mentally. For example, there's a baby born in the hospital, which is like a female born baby. But over the period of time, once the puberty hits and the baby realizes that I feel like a man, more like a man out there, this particular man should be considered as trans man. So what should be considered is a mental aspect, not a biology aspect. I hope you're able to understand. I'll give you a better example. Suppose if a baby is born in the hospital and it looks like a boy, and it is registered as a boy. But when the boy grows up, but starts having the feelings or the emotions of a woman, like wanting to be with women and understanding the emotions of women, this is trans women. So trans man and trans women are the attributes that are from the mental perspectives, not from the physical perspectives. But the problem over here is the registration that has happened is actually from the physical perspectives. So there's a great disparity there itself. And government is still figuring out right methods to identify this. And there are a lot of initiatives taken care by a lot of private organizations to have separate sanitation, separate washrooms, separate. But having the separate washroom is also kind of another, I should say, socially, somewhere some kind of a bias is happening. They should be allowed to come to use the gents and the ladies' washroom, depending on their sexuality, and they are the ones to choose that. Of course, we have mishappenings in case of both man and women, and it's just not with the transgender. It's just that with transgender, you get to see that common, and the only person to blame over here is the media, and not the people over there. So let's literally not get into the categories of trans man and women. Transgender, that's it. That's the reason everywhere it's transgender. In fact, in India, Tamil Nadu and UP contributes to the maximum population of transgender. Nearly 24 to 25% of the population of UP is supposedly the transgenders, and similarly Tamil Nadu has got a number of around 22 to 23% maximum in the country. So this is some of the surveys that I would like to put forth, so that you also have a perspective. Oh, that's why. And why do they clap is an amazing story. I would request everybody to go through a little bit of internet to understand why do they clap. It could be some kind of an activity for you. That's it. Let's continue further to talk about a role of teachers in a particular school system or education system, to understand how could we include gender. So gender inclusion, one attribute. Gender sensitization is the second attribute. The third attribute is, once the children are exposed to both of these, the third is gender stereotypes and social stigmas. Now this is the actual problem. You say that we have to include gender everywhere. You also give me a sensitization of what these genders are, but when I come to the real world as a child, I'm not able to see exact representation of what was studied. So what's wrong over here? A teacher needs to convey the children that already these things that are present in the book are not happening. Do something about it. Do something about it. So for that, let me, okay, 1 second, somebody by mistake. So here we go. Pedagogical and curricular changes cannot be realized without the teacher, who is at the forefront of the teaching learning process. Important point. Teachers also need to be aware of the operation of the hidden curriculum that includes behaviors. Did you see that? Hidden curriculum. Now, what do you mean by hidden curriculum? It's all about the behaviors. Sometimes a teacher might have a different type of a behavior with certain set of children. Now that has to be wrong. I mean, that's definitely wrong. And we sometimes subconsciously do that. Sometimes when a homework is assigned to children, and if the boys have not completed, we literally give a punishment that is comparatively harsh than a punishment that's given to a girl. And if a girl is not completed the homework, most times the whole class is excused. These are real life examples. I'm not joking. I think some of you might even agree with that. Yeah. There are also problems with the laws for the teachers, because if you give punishments, then somebody will come to your house and say, how dare you, give such kind of a punishment? According to Children's Act, you are behind the jail for the next 10 years. That is also there happening somewhere, but that's more from humor point of view. But it's important to make sure the punishment designing, maybe we need to have a course on punishment designing as well, to have a proper guidance for the children for both the genders or all the genders. Both the genders is wrong, all the genders. Perspectives that students pick up in the school in an unintended manner, and gender inevitably becomes a part of this hidden curriculum. Hidden curriculum is a dangerous aspect which we need to be very careful about. It's all about what you convey to the children. The teacher should first identify the gender differences in all schooling activities, and then plan and implement the activities in the classroom and outside the classroom. Have you seen this? Whenever you go to a playground of a school in a PT period, you'll see all the boys playing football or cricket. And in one corner of the playground, the girls are playing Coco or probably badminton, not even basketball. So there is a difference that's happening. But right now, I think a lot of schools have taken initiatives to have this properly covered. I've seen some schools where boys and girls both play cricket together. So associating sports with a particular gender is another important attribute. We'll talk about it. Teacher system of rewards and punishments, disciplining of boys and girls through different strategies, and their labeling pattern is gender biased, which we just spoke about, which ideally should not. So these are some of the roles. We have not really us boys to carry the books, not girls equally. Exactly. Girls sit under the tree in the ground. Exactly. Please share the link to the gender. Okay, done. I hope. So this particular attribute is for the role of teachers. Let's go for the attributes of principals. So role of a school leader or role of a school. A gender-friendly school embraces the experiences of boys, girls, and transgender students in the knowledge construction and addresses their needs in the social and the physical environment of the school. Now, social and physical environment is a very underrated word. It's about the acceptance of the student. Just imagine there is a differently able child coming and sitting in the class. who is having some sort of a challenge in vision, for example, you'd see all the children supporting that particular child to take the child to the washroom or have the food and things like that. The values and the morals are properly dealt. But if a transgender student comes to the class, generally the children actually avoid the category itself. Why? Because the exposure to differently able children is comparatively higher than exposure to transgender students. It's important for a school leader to sensitize the children that everybody has got their own abilities. It's not specially able. Let's not name them probably disabled. It could be transgender as well. It could be, let's not blame them by your socially disadvantaged person, underprivileged. All these terms have to be abolished, at least within the classroom among the students. Yes, we require them, teachers require them to know about it, but not really the students. 25% seat to be reserved for transgender students as per the government law. Schools need to be placed need to places where discriminatory gender roles are challenged and revisited. So need to places, I think there's a grammatical mistake over here, I'm very sorry. Discriminatory gender roles are challenged and revisited is the PT period that I was talking about. Even in school assemblies, you would see that most children who are the commanders, who say the school Vishram, school Savdhan, or attention, stand at ease and all these things, generally will be boys and not girls. Let's avoid that. To promote the concept of gender equality, it is important to look at all the school activities from a gender lens. So gender lens is the overarching lens, which is very important for a school leader to have. This will help in realizing the importance of developing gender responsiveness of the schools towards the needs of boys, girls, and transgender students. How many of the teachers out here have given or punished the children or the boys? For example, if a boy is not really performing properly in the class, or it's kind of not disciplined, you make the boy sit between two girls. Now making a boy sit between two girls is considered to be a punishment, and I got this punishment multiple times. Maybe that's why I'm very comfortable with girls. That's a side effect that I have. But the point is, the aspect of punishment for sitting between the girls itself comes up with a message that you're not really the same, which is wrong. I hope you're getting the connect. Yeah. And most schools also have this habit of separate row for boys, separate row for girls, again boys and girls, though it is not really a big problem in major places, but there is a huge problem in the mindset of the children. The children over there, girls think that they are girls, boys think they are boys. They don't really see that they both are one and the same, somewhere or the other. Hence, if a school is giving the freedom of choice for the girl and the boys to sit together, first of all, the school out there and the teachers out there should come up with a mentality that it is okay for that, at least till grade 7 or 8, unless and until the girl hits a puberty or has a problem sitting with the boys because of her physical problems. There's no issue in both of these people sitting together, not at all. It's just the overthinking that creates a problem. Education is required for such kind of people. Can take all as person. Exactly. Let's continue further. Now this is role of a school leader, role of a teacher. We saw that, but I would like to request you to watch this another beautiful message, and this is by Prega News. I think you know about the Prega, right? We'll talk about it. Watch this.
इतना आसान नहीं है मालिनी, तुझे पता है इस इंडस्ट्री का सीन यार। मैंने अपने राइजिंग करियर के टाइम पे शादी की थी, नाउ यू नो मुझे कैसे असाइनमेंट्स मिल रहे हैं। आई एम नॉट रेडी फॉर दिस। ये प्रेगनेंसी ना मेरा मॉडलिंग करियर ख़त्म कर देगी। अच्छा लिसन, आई विल कॉल यू बैक लेटर, ओके बाय।
मैम मैं उठा के देती हूँ, ये लीजिए। मैम बच्चे के तलवे पर ना मालिश कर देना, चुप हो जाएगा। मेरे बच्चे भी रोते ना तो मैं ऐसे ही करती हूँ, चुप हो जाता है।
अच्छा, कितने बच्चे हैं आपके?
3।
तो ड्यूटी के साथ साथ कैसे मैनेज किया?
मैनेज का क्या है, 10 घंटा यहाँ पे ड्यूटी खत्म करने के बाद बाकी माँ होने का ड्यूटी। मैम
ये डबल ड्यूटी करते करते जो लाइफ में पीछे रह गई हो, उसका क्या?
आपके हिसाब से आगे रहना किसको बोलते हैं मालूम नहीं, पर मेरे बच्चों के हिसाब से ना मैं हमेशा ही आगे हूँ।
So sweet.
अच्छा तुम बताओ, तुम तो पढ़ी लिखी लगती हो और यहाँ तुम्हें कोई जज करने वाला भी नहीं है। सच बताना, जब से बच्चा तुम्हारी गोद में आया है, तुम माँ बनी हो, तुम्हें नहीं लगता तुम्हारी फ्रीडम, तुम्हारे अपने सपने, इंडिविजुअलिटी सब खत्म हो गई?
नहीं, इनफैक्ट जब से मेरी जिंदगी में आई है ना, मेरी फ्रीडम, मेरी इंडिविजुअलिटी, मेरी पहचान को जैसे एक और पहचान मिल गई है, माँ की।
आसान है तुम्हारे लिए ये सब फिल्मी बातें कहना। हाउसवाइफ हो ना, अगर एक बार भी लाइफ और वर्क बैलेंस करना पड़ जाए तो तुम्हें दुनियादारी समझ आ जाएगी।
आसान नहीं था इस नन्ही से शैतान के साथ साथ इस पूरे डिस्ट्रिक्ट के लॉ एंड ऑर्डर को संभालना। ये बस नजरिए की बात है।
मैम, गाड़ी आ गई है।
मैम, यू आर?
सीमा रस्तोगी, एसएसपी 86।
मैम, आपका पार्सल।
तू दरिया की वो धारा है जो दो राह भी तर जाए, है आईना तू ऐसा जो नया नजरिया दिखलाए। This Women's Day, Prega News celebrates the boundless spirit of womanhood because she can carry both.
Did you see the irony over here? She can carry both, and that's amazing tagline or a hashtag out there for women out there, where it's generally biased, especially with maternity, and this particular aspect of women out there, like once they become pregnant, they're not capable of things. That's the biggest stereotype or the social stigma that we have out there. And the best part is she can carry both, even he can carry both. So that's the point of the whole discussion in this particular session. It's just not to glorify women, it's just not to glorify men, it's that anybody can carry everything is the point over here. But I really wanted to play this because most teachers out there are ladies out there. So that's the reason. Let's continue further. Almost the last part of the session. We're going to go forward, and now let's go to the next slide. We're going to talk about subject integration. Now, subject integration in the class with gender is a subtle message to children that all are same. One such example is English. Now, English, or the medium of instruction, or any language, plays the most important role in talking about masculinity or femininity. Now, here we talk about use of vocabulary mankind. Now, there's nothing called as womankind, mankind. I mean, everybody under mankind is mankind. I mean, that's wrong. So people think that the whole human race is attributed to man, not women. That's wrong. Air hostess, the word itself is conveying the message as if it has got some feminine characteristics. So that's wrong. A boy can be an air hostess too. Why not? Housewife. Have you ever heard about house husband? Very rare. शायद कोई movie का नाम है. क्या था वो? Ka and Key, something like that, right? There we speak about it. Housewife. Chairman. You don't have chairwoman, it's chairman, and that's why many people out there name themselves a chairperson rather than a chair woman or man. And citing women leaders in their literary works. Okay, I'm sorry. So these are some of the attributes from language perspective that can be changed by a teacher in order to convey gender inclusion into the classroom. It could be changed, and whenever such words come, let us highlight that word and talk to children. Doesn't mean that only these people. Somehow English has got some lack of vocabulary because of which they've given only these words. Maybe we can have another word, and children, you tell me what kind of words let's like we shall have, and the children will start talking about it. Social science, perfect subject to talk about social stigma as breaking stereotypes. Being a son of a social studies teacher, my father, we keep talking about equality and equity to multiple extents, and my father always used to talk about the sati system and how it got abolished. But that time sati got abolished, but still in the form of multiple biases that are happening. Sati system is still prevailing in the society. Maybe women are not dying at once, but they're dying every day. So what kind of things have to, right from talking about the dress up that you have according to a religion, and right from the category of a woman getting treated separately, especially when they're menstruating. Forget about menstruation. Even if a woman coughs or sneezes, it's considered to be a bad omen to the society. That's bad, and social science is the right subject to talk about it. So try to integrate as many statements in every chapter. There's definitely one statement in every chapter that can be used in order to break the stereotype. Finally, mathematics and science is considered to be man's department. Man's department, really. Mathematics, inclusion of word problems that narrate stories of women present in sports. Talk about women mathematicians like Raman Parimala, Shakuntala Devi, and many more. So when we talk about mathematics, there is a word problem, right? There were 11 players in a cricket, in a women's cricket team. Rather than saying that a cricket team, let's mention the point of women's cricket team. Subtly, in a very hidden curriculum manner, we are trying to convey the message to people, that to the children, that there is a women's cricket team also there present out there, and it is quite a possibility. A women's football team. So mathematics could be a very good place to cite information in the form of a mandatory rule, like yes, women's cricket team is kind of possible, and there are multiple other examples also. And generally Aryabhatta is considered to be I mean, of course, you're a man, considered to be greatest mathematicians of all time, but not really. We have got multiple other people. We've got, I think, Dr. Mangala Niralkar, something like that. I'm forgetting another person's name. Raman Parimala, Shakuntala Devi, and many other people. Let's talk about them. Science use the biological concepts to define the differences of a sex and establish it's only the difference, nothing else, or it's the only difference. So biological science also attributes to gender. Like if you talk about this curriculum called a STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, there are multiple organizations like CGI. Intel talks about it. They say that CGI for good, CGI for girls, or STEM for girls, STEM by girls. So basically electronics is not a department of man only, it can be for women also. Indigo as an airline, they started taking this initiative, I think 4 or 5 years back, where they started enrolling a lot of girls and women out there for being a pilot. And today we have got very good crew member who are running the planes from one place to another for pilots. So these are some of the spots from where the integration can happen in various subjects. Names, they play a key role. We also need to identify a few transgenders out there who have achieved a lot in their life, and that has to be coming on the curriculum as well. Let's go almost to the last part. I'm not going to do this activity. I was supposed to, but considering the time, I'm not. So when you actually Google, say, doctor, teacher, engineer, astronaut, scientist, air hostess, put it on the image, Google image search, you'll be surprised to see that even internet is filled with perception that doctor is mostly the men, not the women. Teacher is mostly the ladies, not the man. Engineer is mostly the man and not the girls. In this manner, there is a perception that is getting created even in the internet world. And somewhere, if a teacher is there out to properly cite that, no, this is not the right fact, children, it can happen the otherwise also, then that's the right place where gender inclusion is actually happening into the system. And this is something with respect to a mindset of the women. Yeah, Narlikar, Mangla Narlikar, ma'am. Thank you so much, Vandana, ma'am. Yeah. Now, women in national parliaments, this is very important. Gender inclusion as a problem, if at all there is there. The problem is even the women believe that women are supposed to be like that and like this. And according to this, women in national parliaments in different regions in the world, you can see that Nordic countries, Americas, Europe, Saharan Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa, Asia, Arab states, Pacific, and India. So you can see that when we talk about the management level from running the country point of view or minister level, you can see that we have got 11.8%. So world average is 24% women in national parliaments in different regions. So in our Indian government, we've got approximately a maximum of 12% women running the country over there. So this is, and some of them are actors, some of them are singers, multiple people are coming. Smriti Irani is a very good example and inspiration for many people. I think most of you know about her. So this is with respect to the current state, but I think this is 2018 takka report that's coming out there. So in fact, teachers are the ones, or the children are the ones who need to get enlightened with all these facts so that they redirect it. Finally, coming to the last part, in case if there is a sexual abuse, it not be sexual, it could be any other abuse also, physical abuse of beating and bad mouthing and scolding someone, a child or an elder besides a child can dial this number 1098 and immediately reach out to the officials, and they'll be coming to the location and sort that issue out. Even if you're there in an emergency situation, 1098 is the right number to be spoken about, and this is very evidently mentioned in the POCSO Act as well. I think many schools have a POCSO committee in the school, and most of the schools will also have this number put onto the walls. If at all anybody's facing the trouble, both boys and girls, in terms of anything, please dial this number. And for the teachers, I think it is 1099. I might be wrong, please verify this. 1098, 1097 or 1099. You can check about it, we'll talk about it. So Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act, POCSO Act, is another committee which is supposed to be there in most of the schools as per the CBSE guidelines, but still teachers can get trained on that up to a certain extent. We'll have POCSO for one of the Super Sunday workshops so that everybody gets an awareness of what exactly abuses means. And finally, one last video to close the day, and the reflection form is actually coming on the chat multiple times. You can fill it up, and only then your certificates will be issued within 15 days. Please watch this, teachers.
बदलाव के पहिए सिर्फ पन्नों पर नहीं, रास्तों पर भी चलने चाहिए ना।
So that's बदलाव के पन्ने सिर्फ पन्नों पर नहीं, बदलाव के रास्तों पर भी होने चाहिए, पक्का स्कूल पर तो होना ही चाहिए. So that's with respect to the gender inclusion into the curriculum, teachers. I hope we touched base upon multiple aspects of gender inclusion. I hope this was another session that provided some kind of an exposure to another important topic by NEP 2020. I would request everybody to fill the reflection form in order to get your certification, and be patient for 15 days, please, so that you receive the certificates. Thank you so much. It was great interacting with all of you on another Super Sunday workshop. His story could also be her story. Rather than calling it history, her story also, it could be one of the words. Why not? Let's introduce that. So thank you so much, teachers. Great interacting with one and all. I would like to meet you again on another Super Sunday workshop, 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock. I would request this time everybody to please pass on this message of the links to your other schools, your colleagues, teachers, so that everybody can get benefited out of this. And also, we are announcing a special program for computer science teachers called a CS Gems. Please visit our website. You'll get to know the details about it. You'll be getting the information about the CS Gems in the reflection form also. Click on the link and understand. A principal has to nominate the computer science teachers for getting trained on special topics that are required right now as per the skill subjects and also as per the current trending technologies. So I think I should stop over here. It was great interacting with one and all again and again. Thank you so much. I hope you got some insights about gender inclusion into the curriculum. Requesting you to please complete this course on NCERT. Try to do it on Diksha portal if it's available. As of now, it's not, and that would give a certificate of CPD completion, more like icing on the cake. And some of you over here are like waiting for the certificates to be produced into the schools. Leaders out there, I would just definitely try to give it as soon as possible. A maximum delay can happen up to 15 days, but not more than that. So I think I've done with my announcement. So thank you so much, teachers. Let's, if possible, try to come up with the same topic. And again, I will try, but mostly it wouldn't happen on a Super Sunday workshop. If anyone out there would like to see the list of topics that's already covered, visit the YouTube channel of Super Teacher Official, click on playlists, and you'll find Super Sunday workshop. All the topics that we have addressed is present over there. So if at all there is any query, you can ask me on the chat or through the reflection form. I'll definitely get back to you. If still you are not getting the response, please mail it to us, swati@superteacher.in. The mail ID is there on the chat, and you'll get the information. Yeah. Chalo. That's it. Thank you so much, teachers. I'm closing the session. The North schools are getting open, especially in the Punjab area, I guess. So happy new academic year to all of you over there. I'll close the session right away. Bye, everyone. Thank you, Vandana ma'am, Suchishmita ma'am, Pooja ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you, Vasundhara ma'am. Good to see you again, ma'am. Quite motivating. Thank you, Maria ma'am, Tanlakshmi ma'am, Rakhi ma'am. Thank you so much, Joita ma'am. Thank you, Pritha ma'am. Meena ma'am, you should definitely get your certificates. Please reach out to me. You have my number. Please reach out. I'll definitely help you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. If you get time, watch this short film called as Komal. It comes under the POXO Act, childline.org. Komal is an amazing thing. Ms. Alo Mukherjee, please write a mail to us. You will not get the last week certificate for another 1 week, 15 days. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Komal, yeah. Okay, already showed. That's great. Fill the reflection form. You'll find my number over there. Asha ma'am, please mail it to us. Great, great, great. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Meenakshi ma'am. Komal is an amazing film. Due to the time constraint, I really didn't want to get into multiple videos. Asha ma'am, if you've mailed it around 2 or 3 days back, I would request you to forward it again, please. Runa ma'am, good to see you again. Thank you so much. Chalo, happy weekend to everyone, and happy new week to everyone. I'll see you again in the next Super Sunday workshop with another amazing topic. Bye, everyone.